Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're diving into something super delicious, and I'm really excited about this one.
Yeah.
We're talking all about Italian crostata.
Hmm.
It's kind of like a pie, but it's
Yeah.
free form and it's really rustic.
It is. It's so simple.
Yeah, and just thinking about it, I think of like a buttery golden crust and then like a sweet tart filling.
Yes.
So good.
The perfect marriage of textures and flavors, really.
Absolutely. So we're going to be looking at two variations today.
Okay.
One is a classic apple,
Yeah.
and the other is a vibrant marmellata.
Nice.
Now, marmellata, that's Italian for fruit preserves. So,
Yeah, exactly. You got it.
okay, cool. So we're working with this fantastic recipe from eateveryslice.
Oh, they have great recipes.
They really know their Italian baking in the dough?
It's so simple.
Yeah.
Like, unbelievably simple. You probably have all the ingredients in your pantry already.
And you know what I love about that is that it's not intimidating. It's like
Yeah.
anyone can make this.
Exactly. And that's the beauty of crostata. It's approachable baking at its finest.
I love that approachable baking. Okay, so simple ingredients for the dough, but there's one step
Yes.
that I think really makes a difference.
Absolutely chilling the dough.
Okay.
That is key for getting that perfect flaky texture.
So why is that? Why is chilling it so important?
Well, when you chill the dough, the gluten relaxes, and that's what gives you a more tender melt in your mouth crust.
Oh, so it's like a low effort, high reward kind of situation. I
Exactly.
like that. Okay, so we've got our dough chilling in the fridge. Now let's talk fillings,
All right.
because we've got two really tempting options here. First up, we have that classic apple filling.
Yeah, the classic.
I mean, it's timeless.
Yeah.
Thinly sliced apples, cinnamon sugar.
Warm spices.
Doesn't it just make you think of like cozy autumn vibes?
Oh, 100%. It's like a warm hug and a dessert.
It really is okay. And then for those who want to branch out a little bit, we have the marmellata filling.
This is where you can get creative. Marmellata, remember, it's just Italian for fruit preserves.
Right.
So you can use any kind you like.
Okay.
Think like a bright and tangy raspberry, a sweet and delicate fig,
Oh.
or even something a little more unusual like quince.
Ooh, quince. I love quince.
It's all about finding a flavor that speaks to you.
Yeah, I can just imagine having like a pantry full of all these colorful jars of marmellata just waiting to be turned into beautiful crostatas.
I love that image. A rainbow of possibilities.
Absolutely. Okay, so now we've got our dough chilled, our fillings are ready. It's time to assemble this rustic Italian masterpiece.
Let's do it.
So we roll out the dough.
Into a rough circle or rectangle. No need to be perfect here.
Okay, this is where I feel like it gets fun.
Yes.
You just pile that delicious filling right in the center of the dough, leaving a nice border all around.
Exactly. And then, this is my favorite part, you gently fold the edges of the dough over the filling.
Oh yeah, creating those like lovely pleats and folds.
Yes, and don't worry if it's not perfectly symmetrical.
Yeah, it's rustic.
Exactly. Those little imperfections add to the charm.
And you know what? I bet those folds aren't just for looks. They probably serve a purpose too, right?
You're absolutely right. Those little cracks and openings allow those tantalizing juices from the filling to bubble up and mingle with that buttery crust as it bakes.
So good. So we've got this gorgeous crostata assembled, ready for the oven.
All right.
What are the signs that it's perfectly baked?
Well, you'll know your crostata is ready when the crust is a beautiful golden brown.
Okay.
And you can see those delightful bubbles of jam or fruit peeking through the folds.
Oh, yeah.
It should look invitingly rustic and smell absolutely divine.
Okay, I'm drooling already. But before I grab a fork and dive in,
Yeah.
tell me what's the best way to enjoy this Italian masterpiece?
Well, the beauty of crostata is that it's just as delicious warm from the oven as it is the next day.
Oh.
You can enjoy it on its own, maybe with a dollop of whipped cream or a scoop of vanilla gelato.
Yeah.
And don't be afraid to think outside the dessert box. Crostata makes a delightful breakfast option, too, especially when paired with a cup of coffee or tea.
That sounds amazing. So, while we're talking about all of these delicious possibilities,
Yeah.
I can't help but wonder about the history of the crostata. Like, where did it all begin?
That's a great question. It's a simple dessert, but it has a surprisingly long history.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it actually goes all the way back to ancient Roman times.
Wow.
Back then, they had a pastry called crostata, which essentially was a baked crust filled with whatever ingredients they had on hand.
Oh, so like the original pantry raid.
Exactly.
So the crostata's been satisfying cravings for centuries.
It really has.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
But how did it evolve from this ancient Roman pastry to the beloved Italian staple we know today?
Well, over time, the crostata was adopted and adapted by various cultures and regions.
All right.
But it really found its home in Italy. And, you know, it became a symbol of home baking and family traditions.
Yeah, you can see that.
And because it's so versatile and forgiving, you know,
Yeah,
it could be easily adapted to different regions and preferences.
that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
You mentioned regional variations. So does that mean there are savory crostatas too?
You know, there are.
Really?
You might be surprised to learn that they're quite common in some parts of Italy.
Mm.
Think of them as like rustic, open-faced tarts,
Okay.
filled with cheeses, vegetables, meats, or even a combination of all three.
Oh, wow. That's so interesting. I've never thought of it that way.
Yeah, it just shows the adaptability of the crostata and, you know,
Yeah.
its importance in Italian cuisine.
A blank canvas for culinary creativity.
Exactly.
Okay, my mind is officially blown. I need to try a savory crostata ASAP.
We do.
But let's get back to the sweet variations for a moment. You mentioned quince marmellata earlier. And
Yeah.
I have to admit, that's a flavor I'm not too familiar with.
Well, quince is a fruit that's been enjoyed in Europe and the Mediterranean for centuries.
Oh.
It has a really unique flavor profile.
Okay.
It's slightly tart with some floral notes and a hint of honeyed sweetness. And when you cook it down into a marmellata, it creates this beautiful jewel-toned filling.
Yeah.
Adds a sophisticated twist to the classic crostata.
That sounds amazing.
It is.
And it just goes to show that there's so much more to marmellata than just strawberry or
Oh,
raspberry.
absolutely. It's a whole world of flavor waiting to be explored.
Exactly. And speaking of exploration, let's not forget about the artistry of crostata assembly.
Right.
Remember, it's all about embracing imperfection and letting your personal style shine through.
I love that.
So with those folds and pleats,
Yeah.
are there any rules or techniques to keep in mind?
You know, think of it less as rules and more as guidelines.
Okay.
Some people like to create a more structured lattice pattern with the dough,
Mm-hmm.
while others prefer a more free-form, organic approach.
I think I'd go for the free form.
Me too.
It just feels more authentic that way.
It does.
But let's say I've mastered the art of the fold, and my crostata emerges from the oven
Yes.
in all of its golden glory.
Beautiful.
How do Italians traditionally elevate this already delicious dessert?
Well, you certainly can't go wrong with a dollop of freshly whipped cream
Oh, yeah.
or a scoop of creamy gelato.
Mm.
But for a truly authentic Italian touch,
Yeah.
try serving your crostata with a dollop of mascarpone cheese.
Mascarpone.
Yes, it's rich and slightly tangy flavor. It complements the sweetness of the fruit filling so well.
Oh, that sounds incredible. I can just
Yeah.
imagine it melting into that warm crostata.
So good.
What about beverages?
Ooh.
What would you recommend pairing with this Italian masterpiece?
Well, if you're looking for that truly Italian experience,
Yeah.
a slightly sweet and sparkling Moscato d'Asti would be lovely.
Oh, nice.
Its delicate fruity notes, they pair so well with the crostata flavors.
Okay.
But honestly, even a simple cup of espresso can elevate the enjoyment of a good crostata.
That's true. So we've covered everything from the crostata's ancient Roman roots
We have.
to the art of crafting those rustic folds.
Yes.
We've explored a rainbow of marmellata flavors.
It's been a journey.
It has, and discovered the perfect Italian pairings.
It's been a delicious journey.
It really has. Before we wrap up, is there anything else our listeners should keep in mind as they embark on their own crostata adventures?
I think, you know, at the end of the day, the most important thing to remember is that crostata is about so much more than just following a recipe.
Yes.
It's about embracing the process, you know,
Absolutely.
the imperfections, the joy of creating something delicious with your own two hands.
It really is. It's about slowing down, savoring the aromas that fill your kitchen,
Yes.
and sharing those homemade treats with the people you love.
It's true. It's like a reminder that sometimes the simplest things in life
Right.
are the most rewarding.
Absolutely.
Beautifully said. Now, before we let our listeners go,
Yes.
I want to remind everyone to check out www.eateveryslice.com
Yes.
for the full crostata recipe that we've been talking about today,
All the details are there.
plus tons of other amazing Italian recipes and baking tips.
It's a great resource.
It really is. For anyone who wants to explore the world of Italian cuisine.
And don't forget to share your crostata creations with us.
Oh, yes, please.
We'd love to see your photos and hear about your experiences in the kitchen.
Absolutely. Tag us on social media or leave a comment on the website.
We're always excited to connect with fellow baking enthusiasts.
Always.
So there you have it, folks, our deep dive into the world of the authentic Italian crostata.
It's been a pleasure.
It has a dessert that's as rich in history as it is in flavor.
Mmm.
And we hope this episode has inspired you to try making your own.
I hope so, too.
Remember, embrace those imperfections. Have fun in the kitchen.
Yes.
And most importantly,
Enjoy every slice.
until next time, happy baking, everyone.